The first thing you need to know how to do is how to set margins, because the margins for a business letter are different from a resume. A margin on a business letter should have a top margin of 2 inches, and the sides and the bottom should only be about 1 inch. Watch, this is how we do that. Here is Word, and it's already got a sample letter in it that we're going to format. Notice that right now these blue areas mark themselves at about 1 inch. Where the line is, that's what's considered 0. So this way it's only 1 inch, and that way, of course, it's going to go all the way down to the bottom, and you're going to have an inch at the bottom as well. The way you set your margins is you make sure that you are on the Page Layout tab. You go to Margins, you click the downward arrow, you go all the way to the bottom of the drop-down menu, and you select on Margins. Custom margins. You make sure your top margin is 2 inches by simply typing a 2. Hit tab, that's a 1, that's a 1, and that's 1. So all your margins are now set correctly. You're going to click on OK. And watch what happens to the letter when you click on OK. Notice how your margin has slid down, and now you have a nice 2-inch margin at the top. The other thing you want to make sure of, Word likes to, 2007, likes to have the default set of your spacing after your paragraphs is 10 points. Well, they consider after a paragraph anytime you hit enter. So you want to make sure that after is actually a 0 point. You want to go to the Home tab and make sure your line spacing is not 1.15 but 1.0, which is one single space. If you don't do all of that, then your business letter is going to end up looking kind of silly. So here's our sample letter again. Every time you see a line like this, that tells you it's the end of a line. So we're going to take that line out because it's not necessary. And then we're going to go ahead and break out our return address. So this is our return address up here. On this address, I did not make the decision to include my phone number and address, or phone number and email address, because that was unnecessary. There is our date with the month spelled out. We want to put 4 enters between the date and the inside address. So we're going to say 1, 2, 3, and this is the 4th one right there. So here is our inside address. Again, these lines right here indicate that that's the end of the line. So we're going to highlight that little space right there and get rid of it. Alright, so we're sending it to Jenna St. John, who is the Personnel Director of Regency Insurance Company. And there is the street address, and apparently that company is in Houston, Texas. And then we need a double space to get down to the salutation, so that would be 2 enters. There's 1, and then there's our second enter there, which has already been keyed. So here in our sample letter again, we're just going to hit 1 enter, and this is the first 4 parts of our resume that has been formatted. Please remember there should be 3 lines here, because that's a quad space. So here's 1 enter, 2, 3, 4 enters there. And then there should be a double space between the inside address and the salutation. Let's recap what we know about business letters. The first part of a business letter is the return address. That is the address of the person who is sending the letter or who has written the letter. After that is the date, and it's a single space from the return address to the date with the month spelled out. From the date, you should have 1, 2, 3, 4 enters. That's a quad space to get down to the inside address. And from the inside address, which is the address to whom the letter is going, the recipient's address, to the salutation should be 1, 2 enters, which is a double space. Next comes the body. The body is the message that you are sending to your recipient, and a body should be single spaced for each paragraph, but there should be a double space between each paragraph. After the body is done, you will then have a double space to get to the closing. So here we have sincerely, and there should be 1, 2, 3, 4 enters down to the type name. Those 4 enters allow you to sign your name between the complimentary closing and the type name. If the person who wrote the letter is not the person who typed the letter, you would then put your initials. All right. And if there's something in the envelope besides the letter, then there is an attachment enclosure notation.